Hello everyone, Dan here, and welcome back to Moderately Anonymous MTG, the greatest cEDH channel in the multiverse. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Dan, Moderately Anonymous MTG, and welcome back to another episode of Moderately Anonymous MTG cEDH. Today we've got a very special episode for you. This is our first ever Patreon sponsored episode. So before we start, I just want to give a special shout out to our sponsor and our member of the Patreon Discord. Big thank you to Mr.GoldDucky666. If you want to be on an episode of the show, go check out our Patreon, sign up for our co-star tier, or check out any of the other tiers. There's a lot of great ways to support the show and support us and get involved in the Moderately Anonymous community. And rounding out our pod today, we're also joined by friends of the show, Skylar and Kev from Just Kev's Will. Go check out the video description below to see how you can find links to all of their work across the internet. And of course, check out our merch store, check out all the sponsors, Dragon Shield affiliate link if you want some sleeves, TCG Player affiliate link if you want to pick up some cool cards, Patreon if you want to support the show, and go hit up our Bonfire store and get some really awesome merch. And without further ado, let's get into the deck techs. First up is Kev playing Sophina and Cecily Turbo Time. This is a homebrew deck using its commanders as card advantage engines while it pieces together Time Civ or Underworld Breach combos. Second is Mod playing Tivit, Seller of Secrets. This is a mid-range Esper control deck using relevant hate bear and specific pieces of anti-meta tech to slow the game down while it finds Time Civ as a one-card win con with its commander. Third is Skylar playing mid-range Najeela the Blade Blossom. This is Mod's personal list for Najeela using its commander as a combo outlet with a compact suite of other layered win cons. And fourth in turn order is our patron sponsor of the episode, Mr.GoldDucky666 playing Ramirez, DePietro, Pillager. This is a Dimir control deck using its commander to play cards and piece together wins from its opponent's decks. As always, this episode is brought to you by TCG Player. Hit that TCG Player affiliate link in the description to pick up any of the cards that you see in today's video. It's a great way to help out the channel. And we're also partnered with Dragon Shield. Pick up the greatest card sleeves and TCG accessories in the multiverse and support the show. All of these links are in the video description below. And thank you to all of our patrons who make great content like this possible. Become a patron to enjoy Patreon exclusive content, give direct support to the channel, join our Patreon Discord, and even get your deck featured on the show. And remember, if you enjoy this video, it helps out a lot to click that like and subscribe button. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, and everyone is highly appreciated. One more thank you to Gold Ducky for sponsoring this week's episode, and without further ado, let's hop into the game.
Oh, let's go.
Yep, get spanked. Everybody who's not playing Time Civ.
And I'm glad that you like it now.
I don't know if I ever thought it was bad. I don't know. I like
Tivit.
Tivit.
It was good.
The Friends Forever guys. I have no idea what they do.
Well,
one of them makes clues and the other
important.
one casts free spells if Kev has 11 cards in hand.
No, it
so
draws a
not
card
much.
on attack.
That's true, actually. It does do a thing besides that.
They do both provide card advantage. It's pretty tight. And they're both big as hell. 3, 5, 4, 4. Does anyone have any pregame actions?
I do.
Okay.
I have this Gemstone Caverns, and I'm going to exile this Pact of Negation.
Let's do. I'll drop a turn. I will play a Plateau, and I will...
Passo?
Passo, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Plateau Passo.
I will draw. Flooded Strand is my land for turn. I'm going to crack it and go and get myself a Tundra. Go to 39. I'm going to cast a Mana Crypt. I will cast a Grim Monolith.
I'm going to Spell Pierce it.
I feel like a Grim Monolith is not something you might normally spend your Spell Pierce on, but looking across the table at Tivit and knowing that a Grim Monolith is going to allow me to cast Tivit on turn 3 at least, and maybe even on turn 2 if I've got more colored acceleration, it feels really bad to let me have this, so it seems like a great place to spend your Spell Pierce. I'll Fluster back. And then I'm going to cast a Mox Opal. And
Sweet.
then I'll pass.
Untap. I'll keep drop. I'll play a Beseiju who endures his land for turn. I'll tap it to cast the Soul Ring.
Mhm.
And I'll cast Najeela. Pass turn.
Let's play this Prismatic Vista. Let's play a Chrome Mox exiling a Reanimate. Mox Diamond discarding a Swamp. Let's spend 3 for an Intuition.
Retargeting.
Oh,
I
it is
think
me?
I will target Najeela.
Okay, so Kev, you get priority?
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
You're good. So Dark Ritual, Mana Ball, and Mana Crypt.
So casting Intuition is another interesting decision point here. Being that Intuition is an instant speed spell, you do normally want to cast it on someone's end step going into your turn, but especially given what Ducky got here, I think that we can surmise a little bit about what he's trying to do. Normally in a situation where we don't know his opening hand information, I might think that Ducky's trying to cast more mana rocks here if we give him a mana crypt or a mana vault. Of course, Ramirez is always the payoff at the end of the day for all this mana too. And another discussion we had is, does Ducky have a Yawgmoth's Will in hand, and is he trying to go for a Storm turn next turn? And that requires a little bit of extra thinking about which spells you can give him and which ones he can cast and then recast from the graveyard. Dark Ritual he gets to cast on both halves if we let him have that in his hand for the Yawgmoth's Will, so that being a consideration, you might want to give him one of the mana rocks. But being that this is his first main phase and he's already spent a lot of fast mana, it's not highly likely that we're about to die here.
Mana Vault.
I felt like it's Dark Rit.
I do feel like it's Dark Ritual. It's 3 mana one time compared to potentially more resources. Yeah, Dark Rit.
2 others will go to grave. After that, I will pass the turn.
Sweet. I'll untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a Volcanic Island, play a Mana Crypt, Grim Monolith. I will pass the turn.
Untap. I will roll for Crypt at my upkeep. That is even, so safe. I will draw. Morphic Pool is my land for turn. I'm going to cast a Mystic Remora.
Oh, gross.
I'll pass on it.
That is gross. Yep.
I'll pay 2 life and I'll mental misstep it.
Sure. 2 mana for Lavinia, Azorius Renegade.
Oh.
Hate you so much.
Gross.
You can see that the sequencing that I chose here is a little bit weird, where I could have made Kev spend that extra mana on the mental misstep rather than being able to pay 2 life if I had cast Lavinia first and then gone into the Mystic Remora. But Kev's a long way from being able to cast ad nauseam in instant speed. He could be setting up for an intuition of his own here. My thought process was that this Lavinia is a little bit more valuable than the Mystic Remora in this situation, so if I can keep the board down with this Lavinia, it's going to be worth fishing out some interaction for it. I tried to cast it on turn 1, but you stopped me, you jerk.
Who? How did I stop you?
You made me fluster for the Grim Monolith, so my Mox Opal wasn't
got
online.
Dan all flustered.
I know. I was trying so hard to keep your mocks offline. You got anything else, Bestie?
No, I will pass the turn.
Keep. Draw for turn. Command Tower. I'll dash to Ragavan. I'll move to combat.
Yeah.
Ragavan at Dan and Najeela and the Warrior at Ducky.
This is an oversight that I see a lot of beginning players make. I just cast this Lavinia and it reads that I have a blocker, but Skylar knows that there's not a chance in the world that I'm going to use this Lavinia to block a Ragavan. My Lavinia is clearly worth more to me than killing a Ragavan or stopping this one single treasure that they're going to get. Just something to think about. Don't always read a body as a blocker.
Ragavan trigger.
Godless Shrine off the top.
Okay, I'll have a treasure and I'll pass turn.
Untap, upkeep, draw. Damn, why do you have to be such a pooper? God dang it.
Again, I wanted to do it sooner.
You are what you eat.
I'll cast Dark Ritual. Let's just, cast Ramirez. Cast a Siren Storm Tamer. Then treasure for a Moth Dust Changeling. And I'll pass the turn.
Untap, upkeep, trigger, evens, hurt. I'll pass though.
Untap, upkeep, and draw. And I'm going to roll for this Mana Crypt because I forgot. Evens is damage. I don't know why I did that because Kev said it, I guess. I got a 1, so I'm safe again. Sure. Tivit time. Casting Tivit.
I'll pass on it.
I got nothing.
I will pass on it.
Excellent. ETB trigger. I'm going to vote for 2 treasures.
And I believe everyone else will vote clues.
I'm gonna vote Clue.
Yeah.
I will get 3 Clue of Stardust and 2 treasures. I think we're cool from there. I'm just going to pass.
Play a Verdant Catacombs as land for turn. I'll swing Najeela and the Warrior at Kev. The other 2 warriors coming in as well, so 6 total.
6 at me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'll pass.
Untap, upkeep, draw. That is a card that I cannot cast. Let's go to combat. 1 flying at Najeela and 1 at the ground at just Kev.
Fetch and response to the trigger. And then top card is Demonic Tutor.
That's a playable spell.
It is not for me. I don't have the lands. There's a Lavinia on the field.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
You only
true.
have 1 land.
Pass.
On your end step, I'll pay 7. Cast an overloaded Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah, I'll respond to that. I'm going to leave 1 floating from the crypt and cast a Tainted Pact. Smothering Tithe, Scalding Tarn, Mindbreak Trap, Imp Seal, Mana Drain, Command Tower, Hullbreaker Horror, LED, D-Tutor. I'll just hang with D-Tutor.
Okay.
I will use my floating to crack this treasure for a blue. I'm gonna crack a clue right now, and then I'm good to go.
I'm gonna crack my treasure for white and float 2 colorless from Soul Ring.
Float a black, float a blue, float another black.
Psygrift?
Sounds like it's good.
Let's go.
So I think that there's an argument to be made that even though this is a good spot for Kev to get down this Cyclonic Rift overloaded, it's maybe not the most opportune time. If we look at Skylar's board, they're 1 land away from being able to activate Najeela and start swinging out for a bunch of damage. That's pretty bad. I've already got a Tivit on board and a Lavinia, so I've got a lot of board advantage. It absolutely destroys all of Ducky's mana production because it's mostly rocks, and we already spent the Dark Ritual on Ramirez. Kev isn't under a ton of pressure on the board besides Najeela, but they are forcing a hard reset on the table, which is a pretty big deal for at least 2 of the players. I, on the other hand, I'm probably just going to cast all of my fast mana again, and then cast Tivit again, and maybe I can cast Lavinia off of the clues after that. There's no guarantee that my board specifically looks any different, but it does save you from the Najeela pressure, and it does save you from whatever Ducky is setting up for currently.
That's like the only way I was gonna get back into this at all. Are y'all gonna use that mana?
I am, yeah. I'm just gonna flash in an Archivist.
Ooh, odd. I don't hurt. Drop a turn. K4 for a Sophina Spear Sage Deserter. I will pass the turn.
Untap, upkeep, draw. Crypt. Gonna cast a kitten.
Meow meow.
Now this is the sort of nightmare scenario that we were talking about earlier with the Cyclonic Rift. We already know that I have more fast mana in hand, so this Displacer Kitten is probably going to get out of control pretty quickly. I think it hurts on Kevin's part to have tapped out for the Sophina, but like they said, they're just trying to get back into the game at this point. They're already so far behind, so maybe this is just the best of all options, which is sometimes all you can do. I'm going to cast a Mox Opal and trigger the Kitten. Pointed at Crypt. Tap the Crypt, cast the Monolith, and flicker the Crypt again. I'm going to float a colorless here and cast a Demonic Tutor and have a Kitten trigger and pointed at the Mox Opal.
I'll pass on it.
Seems good.
Okay.
Pass.
Kitten trigger, Mox Opal blinked. Tap Opal for blue. No, we'll tap it for black, and I'm going to cast Jeweled Lotus. So you see me hesitate there really quickly on which color of mana I'm about to start floating, and if I recall correctly, at first I was thinking I'm going to try to bluff some interaction and say maybe I've got a Swan Song in hand with this floating blue mana, but what I actually did have in hand was a Demonic Consultation, so at the end of the day, I could have used that Demonic Consultation to proc the Kitten again, maybe go get some more interaction, maybe actually get that Swan Song out of my deck and then be able to blink the Mox Opal again to use it, so it just ended up being a better scenario to actually hold up mana for something that I have rather than bluffing for something that I don't necessarily have. And have a Kitten trigger that'll point at Mox Opal. There is my blue, bunch of white. Here is a Tivit.
Yep.
Pass on it.
ETB, I'm voting 2 treasures.
Clue.
Clues.
3 Clue of Stardust, 2 treasures.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I had an Archivist trigger.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
It's still good.
I'm going to tap the Monolith and leave 1 floating and crack a Clue. I guess what I'm going to do is use one of my treasures for a black and cast Vampiric Tutor. I will point the trigger at Tivit.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay. And this is the big wombo combo with Displacer Kitten here. Every time you cast one of these 1 CMC spells, you're going to blink Tivit and at least get 2 treasures back, so you're ramping every time, and then you're getting all the clue tokens on top of that. It's a very ridiculous engine in this deck. So Kitten trigger on Tivit. Enters the battlefield again. I'm going to choose 2 treasures.
Clue.
Ducky, how you feeling?
Good.
About clue or treasure, I mean.
Oh, yeah, clue.
Okay. Okay. I will Vamp Tutor.
And I'll have another trigger when you finish.
You got it.
Did you? Did you get it?
No.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get this and go to 35. I'm going to attempt to draw a card off of a clue.
Yeah.
Seems good.
I will
Draw
draw.
your time, Civ bestie.
I have indeed. I will cast a Time Sieve. I have a Kitten trigger that I will point at Tivit once more.
I'll pass on both of them.
Pass.
Pass. I'm not doing
Oof.
jack.
All right. Okay.
Does anyone
Yeah.
have anything? Can we just shortcut to
got
Dan winning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
pretty
propose
sure.
a loop where I keep sacrificing clues and things to Tivit when he hits y'all for damage, and I will keep taking turns until everyone is dead.
GG.
Okay.
If
nice.
you didn't
GGs.
play that Lavinia, I was gonna turn to Adnons. Sad.
You playing
I
out
had to-
like just Chrome Mox and Mox Diamond into Intuition made me extremely sad. It's like, ooh.
It was needed.
Oh, I needed that Grim Monolith so bad, and I needed to
That was
Flusterstorm
rad.
that, but man. So that's it. Super sweet game. Big shout out to Ducky, our patron, for sponsoring this episode, and huge shout out to Skylar and Kev for a really awesome game. The lesson here is that Displacer Kitten is absolutely no joke. That card is an absolute powerhouse. Every time I see it, it is a really, really powerful one. Been loving this Tivit deck. It was a really sweet win. Lots of really cool interactions in this game. Lots of really interesting decision points. Let me know what y'all thought of the game. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here, and we will see you next time. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, one of the best ways to support us is by leaving a comment and hitting that like and subscribe button. It's incredibly helpful and always appreciated. If you want to support the channel more directly, join our Patreon to catch episodes early, join our private Discord, and get some other awesome benefits. One final thank you to all of our patrons who make great content like this possible. And thank you for watching. Be good to yourself, everyone.